Welcome one and all to the Mudai Manga Book Club podcast. Today is episode 26, The Art of Magic. My name is Louie and I will teach you the magic of art. I'm joined with my co-host.
You know, as someone with bad penmanship and a serious dislike of hats, I now understand why I see so little magic in my life.
Tom.
Hello everyone, I don't know why I am talking this way, but welcome to a new episode of the show.
So, are we magical or ghosts?
Magical gold. I was thinking more of Age of Empire cleric conversion thing. That's a deep
before
cut.
we get too off topic, for anyone who hasn't listened to us before, we do two main topics every week. First is we talk about things we've been reading, things we've been listening to, things we've been watching, things we've just been enjoying in the last week. And the other one is, for this week, we're going to discuss the first three arcs of Witch Hat Atelier. So this covers chapters 1 through 7, which is the first book and the beginning of the second book.
Yeah, I believe it's the first two chapters.
Yeah, just because that's how it made more sense, because otherwise you're ending in the middle of a small arc, and then
You're ending right in the middle of something.
we're just going to do the first 7 chapters, so it makes more sense. Okay, so first topic. Tom, what have you been up to? What have you been enjoying?
So, I don't know if you heard about this, but last week you brought up this manga called Soara and the House of Monsters.
Correct.
So I
do
bought it.
remember that.
Well, good, because you're the one who told me about it.
Mm-hmm.
And let it never be said that I don't listen to your recommendations. So
Perfect.
I bought it. I read the first one. I have the rest of them. I didn't get to them yet. I just read the first one.
You got the rest of them?
If I buy 5 at once, I get 15% points back.
That is true.
Yeah, and it wasn't that expensive. That whole thing about me saving money by not buying stuff.
That's
I saved
absolutely
some, and now that I've saved it, I can use it.
Well, that makes total sense. Yes.
Oh, just wait. But I only read the first one. It is very good. It is very cute. Despite it being like this fantasy thing, it starts off with a war with monsters and all that. It's a very cute art style, but
Yes.
I don't have much to add to what you said last week. It's very good. You didn't bring up the last chapter, which ends in the middle of something, which kind of makes sense.
I forgot.
But the Thunder Wolf and the mermaid sharing a house together that they start working on at the end of book 1 is so adorable. That's like two completely mismatched people. It's just so adorable every time. Like the wolf is like, "Oh, I love you so much," and gives her a hug, and she gets electrocuted and flops over. It's like, no, I did it again. I'm sorry.
He just randomly electrocutes everybody.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a cute little story. There's a lot of the obvious themes of like war and home and what do people deserve to have and things like that. They're all in there, and it's mostly a lighthearted series, but as you're watching Soara like deal with the fact that she has nothing, and you see some of her training even in this first one. I think you didn't really bring that up either, where it's like the first chapter is like, oh yeah, here's a dozen reference book, memorize them by tomorrow, and she's like, got it, and does it.
Yeah.
And then like she'll look out the window and she'll see like a family walking down the street going home, and it's just like, yeah, that not having that is a difficult thing to sort of square away with. It's a very good series. I think I'm looking forward to reading the rest of it. Newest volume just released a couple of days ago, so
I'm glad you like it.
I'll probably read that soon. I'm going to skip over the next one because it's probably going to be the one I'm going to spend the most time on, and we'll jump down to the bottom 2 because they're a little bit shorter. Witch Hat Atelier, Volume 1 and 2. I don't know if you know this, but we're talking about this episode, so we'll talk about it later.
Yeah.
I've had it for a while. I've just not read it. I have thoughts.
Okay. That's fine.
We'll talk about it.
We'll talk about it later.
I'm glad I read it for the show, and I'm glad you did not just say book 1.
Yes.
I read all of book 1 and book 2.
Okay.
And my short answer is I do think it is very good. I also read DanDaDan Volume 14, just came out in English. All the things I said about DanDaDan the last few times I've been reading it, I apologize. It is amazing. It is so good. This is the end of the invasion arc, culminating in the kaiju battle.
Yes.
It's so crazy. It is absolutely a comic that you could read in like 15 minutes because there's For like half the book, there's almost no dialogue, but it's page after page of 2-page spreads of people getting hurled through buildings, city blocks getting evaporated, people like getting kicked and then exploding into 1,000 pieces. So it is, in terms of just like climactic action, it is so good.
Yeah.
And there is some great character development. Momo and Okaru, and you get the scenes right after that battle are very, very adorable. It is back to being what I really wanted it, what I remember it being for the beginning. I'm just super happy. I had been kind of like, it's good. I'm glad. I'm going to keep reading it. I don't know if it would make my top list for this year, but no, it's extremely good. I'm very happy with it. I think this was a good return to form, even if it's just 65% battle images and not even like Shangri-La of like tactical crazy, but it's just like me smash you in face now with my feet. Throw you into wall explode. It's such gorgeous destruction.
Yeah.
It's very, very, very good. So, do you know what the one that I skipped over is?
I haven't been reading it, but you're about to... Yeah.
So...
Have I read it?
So, you know how you recommended a bunch of stuff last week?
I gotta remember what I recommended last week.
So, the other one that... Well, I mean, you recommended a whole bunch of stuff. No, I did not buy the shovel one and read it all.
Okay.
No.
But it's so funny.
I'm
it's
sure
so weird.
it is. But...
Yeah.
The other one of yours that I picked up and I went and I got Survival in Another World with My Mistress.
Okay, that's... Yeah.
The light novel.
The light novel. Okay.
All 8. Because the 8th one also just came out in English. And I read all of them.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So is that the end, or is that you still going?
No, it's still going.
Okay.
In Japanese, there is a 9th book, and it is currently still being written. The 9th book, I think, only came out like 2 or 3 months ago.
Okay.
So, it's still in progress. You've only read the first volume of the manga, right?
Technically, yes. But I have read
you started on the second
fan
one.
versions way a long time ago. But yeah.
How? Okay, so...
But yes, I've read the first book.
You've read the first book, and
Which...
part of some of more than that.
Yeah.
So, where it starts in book 1 is not where it goes. Like, as like a world of, hey, it's a guy who has these survival skills, who's with this dark elf, and he has all these crazy weird powers, and it's very fan service, he's very raunchy, all that. That's all there. Mm-hmm. But it goes from a lot of, okay, I have to survive in the Badlands, to, okay, I have to survive not getting killed by these people, to, we're gonna build a kingdom and go to war. Very quickly.
Okay. Yeah, because he didn't have to survive for that long.
The survival part is not a big thing. It's
it's
survival game mechanics.
Yep.
But I really, like, while I was reading it, it's like, this is just how a realist hero rebuilt the kingdom, but way more raunchy, way more sex, and way more about battle and war and fighting than just politics. Because he and Kosuke, the main character, and Sophie is the princess of this ruined kingdom of demi-humans that got taken over by the Holy Empire? Holy Kingdom?
Yes.
The Holy Kingdom.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. And book 1 is just them trying to take care of the refugees. Book 2, they're like, okay, we're going to start actually taking back our old kingdom. And that's book 2 through 6. Into book 7 is them conquering the kingdom that had been conquered by the Holy Kingdom and taking it all back. And a lot of other stuff, but also that. So there's a lot more of, okay, I'm going to build weapons to create an army to then defeat them. It's still extremely funny.
Okay, good.
And for, like, you're like, oh yeah, there's a lot of fan service in this. Like, oh my god, you have no idea what's coming.
Yeah.
Like, this is, there's a lot of sex in this.
Okay.
It's not actual pornography. It's always like fade to black or like
Yeah.
Swap the camera to like outside the window to hear them talking about it afterwards and things like that. And it's almost always funny.
Okay. Yep.
But imagine your standard isekai harem. This goes so much farther beyond that. At the same time, one thing I think this does well is even though it does a lot of humor and a lot of silliness and a lot of ridiculousness, it does do a little bit of that, hey, let me explain why this makes sense. Hey, let me explain like why all of this would happen. And there are some weird moments where it's like, oh, wow, the person actually writing this can make a compelling dramatic scene. If you actually think about it, no, it's incredibly stupid. 100%. All the way through. In every way, shape, and form. But if you just let it wash over you and not think about it too hard, it's like, oh, yeah, okay. It's a light novel.
Yeah.
Specifically in book 6, he has a fight with a couple of spies. And so I bring this up specifically because there was one we did a couple of weeks ago. It was Isekai Tensei. And it was like, I read the first one a long time ago. And I was like, oh, it was pretty good. And I read the second one, like, this is dumb. This is stupid. It's bad. And he has like this scene where he beats up a couple adventurers. And he's like, oh, and then I grabbed him and I shattered the fingers in his hand. And then I broke his elbow. Like, book 6, there's a scene where Kosuke goes from like, haha, goofy, happy guy to like straight up like cold-blooded murderer in person. Like, just torturing and killing people, and it is so well done from beginning to end. It's like, okay, this is going on, I gotta take this seriously, okay, I'm going all in on this. And it's not nearly as violent, it's not nearly as bad, like what he physically does to them. I mean, it's still pretty bad. And there's a scene after it where it's like him coming back down from that and like like people are like, hey, you just murdered a couple people in cold blood. Like, do you need to talk? It's done really well.
Okay. Yep.
And like, I feel like it's at some point we're eventually gonna have to talk about scenes like this. Like, this reminds me of like other scenes where it's just like, wow, this is really well, like Arifureta's scenes in the first novel when the main character like falls into the pit and he's like trying to survive and he's like starving to death. And then all the other stuff happens. Like, it's crazy how good that scene works. Like, this has things like that with very dark or very serious moments.
Yep.
I think the other two things I will say is, because he pulls a lot from a lot of survival games. There's a lot of stuff from 7 Days to Die. There's a lot of stuff from Frostpunk. There's some stuff from Ark Survival of, like, just random mechanics. Was like, oh, I know the game this is from.
Okay.
There's a lot from Minecraft from like books 2 to 5.
Yeah, even
and Minecraft is still
book,
the biggest.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's a lot of Minecraft, and it's like, oh, could you like do other stuff? But it is extremely funny. It is extremely raunchy.
Okay. So it sticks to its roots. Yeah.
it does not change from its roots, even though it goes from I woke up in the woods and I'm trying not to die to I am now the prince consort of a kingdom and we're planning how to overthrow multiple other countries.
Okay.
It's very, very good, and oh my god, there are so many characters. But they're done well, and the ones who are like always there, you see enough that you kind of sort of remember them, and they always get like a moment to come and be part of the story. And then there's some that'll come in for a book, and then they'll leave for 2 books, and then they'll come back. It's a fantastic series.
Cool.
The other reason I brought up Realist Hero, that one does a really good job of book 1 sets up stuff that'll happen in book 4. Book 7 is setting up book 13. This does not do that. Like, the plot is not that carefully crafted, but it flows really well. It's very funny. I have a quote here from the beginning of the book. I think it's 5 or 6. The book starts with, "Hey everyone, Kosuke again. The Liberation Army's conscious." Okay, maybe describing myself like that is a bit of a stretch, considering all the weapons of mass death I've created. Because at that point, I think at that point he's made a nuke. I think at that point he's made it. It's not a nuke because it's not radioactive, but he's made a nuke.
He's made some kind of large bomb. Yeah.
And like I said, that's probably like book 5. Where he is in book 5 compared to book 8, he would be crushed.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And all the like other jokes you were talking about where it's like Ira, the Cyclops girl, who like season's like, I'm just going to have to dissect you because I don't understand what's going on. Mm-hmm. That joke never dies.
Okay,
There's
good.
still book 8 where it's just like, and I show something to Ira and she just stares into space. It is very fun. It's not for kids, but it's very fun. It is not. I highly recommend it. Just understand it's very raunchy and it's very stupid, but it's very good.
Cool. Yeah, I'm glad you like it.
How about you? What have you been up to? What have you been reading?
I've read a few things right now. So, I read the latest volume of Deadrock. So this is Deadrock Volume 2. This is by the same author as Fairy Tail and Eden Zero. This is Hiro Mashiba. So the second book has come out in English.
Yep.
This is a monthly, so there's only 4 chapters. It's good. It's interesting. So anyone who doesn't know, Deadrock is, think about it as a fantasy, almost demon in hell story about a demon school. And if you graduate from the school, you get to take over part of humanity. So in the second book, it's a lot of backstory chapters, like backstories of all the other characters in his class that he wants. The main character is named Yakuto. He is pretty much looks like the main characters from Fairy Tail and Eden Zero. But besides that, it's about all the different characters getting along and trying to decide what they want to do. Because his main goal is to kill God.
Okay.
And God is the principal of the school who sets down all the rules. And in this book, you learn about the backstory of not only some of the other characters in his class that he's trying to be friends with, but the backstory of himself, of why he wants to kill God. And it's because he doesn't believe the guy in charge as God of the school is actually God. He thinks he's a fake. So this goes into explaining why. It's good. It's 4 chapters, so it's a regular sized book because it's monthly. But it's interesting. I think now that I know all the backstories, I kind of want to see where it goes from here. Because, we know why everyone's doing this. So how are they going to do this is the question. Because the main character has the power of a dragon. So every person in the school has, for better or worse, think of it as not a familiar, but like an aspect of something that they can draw upon to be their power. And his is a black dragon. One of the guys gets to draw on the power of Thor and lightning. One of them is power of Ifrit, so she can control fire and things like that. So he tussles with God. God says, "You're weak." So he knocks him down a peg, and he's trying to convince everyone in his class to fight God with him. Some of the people in his class are like, no, I want to graduate. There's no reason for me to kill God, even with your sad backstory. But then some of them were like, yeah, I'll help you. Some of them were like, I'm going to think about it. And so this is very much a learn everyone's history. So then now we can progress with the main story again. So it's good. It's interesting. If you liked his other stories, this one's similar-ish.
Okay.
But it's very much, these characters are much more violent, and it's not like Fairy Tail where everyone wants to be friends. It's pretty much, if you're in my way, I'm going to crush you.
Gotcha.
He wants people to help him, but he's not really like, I want to be friends with everybody.
Like, I just want you to help me kill God.
Yeah, I just want you to help me kill God. That's all I want.
Gotcha.
If you don't help me kill God and you get in my way, I'm going to kill you instead.
Fair enough.
Yeah, because he's already killed like at least one teacher. Because it's like, you're in my way, and then I'm going to drive you around like a puppet. So it's fine.
Okay.
Yeah. So then I did read Eden 032. This just got out. And it's really good.
Yep.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. What? Tell us about it.
It's definitely almost done. I can see this. The next book is, there's not much else to clarify or explain.
Yeah.
I still don't know how he's, like, he explained how he's going to end the series, but I still don't, like, the very end of the book opens up another, what? Question about...
That was my thing where it's like, last book and this book, it's like, oh yeah, the series is coming to an end. But then I got to the end of this book and I'm like, there's only one more book. But at the same time,
yeah,
I feel like two of the other fights in that book, two of those characters did just kind of show up.
Yes.
And then the fights with them ended. And it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
So if he's doing it like that, then it's probably not going to be that much.
I can't remember if they were ever talked about somewhere else in the story, and now they actually showed up.
I think they appeared on the other ship a couple of books ago when they were going to the final fight, and it was like, oh, here's this side's people, and here's the other side's people. But
yeah, because those fights didn't last long.
They did not.
But yes,
it's
yes, it's book 32 of 33. So there's not much you can say without spoiling all of the other previous stories. So
yeah, and this is a story that relies a lot on foreshadowing and complex plots. So it's almost all spoilers in every way, shape, and form.
Yeah,
but it's good.
It is. I like it. It's
good.
It's just a few more months until the last one, so see how it goes. And then I'm going to skip the next one. And so then I read My Dressup Darling, Volume 1.
Okay.
So I don't know if you know this one at all.
I know the title. I don't know much about it.
Okay. So this is one of the ones that kind of makes sense if you know a little bit more about Japanese culture. So what it is there's the main character. His name is Wakana Gojo. His family makes very traditional Japanese dolls, like the ones that you see with the painted faces, like the bun hair kind of thing. So that's what they do. And he is pretty much obsessed with them. He lives with his grandfather. He goes to school. He's not like a shut-in or anything. He's in high school, I think.
Yes, he is.
Yes. And so
I just pulled up the book to look at the summary.
So he goes to school. He's not really friends with anyone because he's just obsessed isn't the right word, but he's really into creating these dolls. And he meets. So they knew each other, kind of, but they're like not even, they're kind of like classmates, but they never talk to each other. So he meets a girl who is Marin. She is just passing by, and then when they meet, okay, I'm trying to remember the exact point they actually talk to each other. Because they bump into each other. It's like, okay, I know her, and she's the popular girl, and I'm just the loner kid. So in his family, they make these dolls, and one day their sewing machine breaks. So it's like, I can't make the clothing, so, okay, we'll have to go fix the sewing machine. And so he's like, okay, well, in the meantime, I'll go to the home ec room and work on the clothing I was going to make for the doll. So he's in there doing that, and then she walks in. Wait, you know how to use a sewing machine? And so he's thinking, she's going to think I'm super weird. And then she's like, that's amazing. Because she, turns out, is really into cosplay, except she is terrible at making clothing. She's like, all right, don't laugh. I'm going to show you what I made. So he turns around. It's like, okay, now turn around. It's like, that's terrible. I don't even know how you could make something this bad. So it doesn't go exactly like that, but that's the idea. And she's like, I am awful at making these. So then they strike up. It's like, oh, so if you help me make this, because she's really into making things, like, okay, great, I can help you make it. And turns out she's really into this game. And he's like, oh, I'm not going to remember the name of the game because it's really long.
Okay, yeah, makes sense.
But she's like, I'm really into this game, and I want to do this outfit to dress up as my favorite character of this game.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, what's the game? And she says it, and it's like some high school super hentai kind of game that she's obsessed with the characters. And he's like, what? He's never heard of it. And just the name of it's like, that sounds weird. So he's like, oh, it's amazing. So eventually, long story short, he starts helping her.
Yeah.
He's like, okay, this is like, we'll go out and pick clothing and not clothes, like cloth and things like that. So he gets really into, I'm going to help you with this. So he's at his house with his grandfather's coming in. So he's playing this game just with the sound on. And the grandpa like leans, is like, what's that noise? He's like, sees him with this game just writing things down. He's like, okay, I'm just gonna back away. Because it's making all these loud noises and things like that. So he's taking notes. So then he shows up and says, okay, I've done the design. And she's like, oh, this is amazing. So we go out and buy all this stuff, like supplies and things like that. And so as things progress, it's kind of like more romance-ish, kind of, but not like they're not at that level. But it's kind of like, I'm helping you, I'm getting close to you, and like they get embarrassed with each other because she's very outgoing and has almost no shame when it comes to this. So she's like, doesn't care, like, take my measurements, and just takes off down her bathing suit, and he's like super incredibly nervous. But then when he touches certain places, she gets really shy and bashful and things like that. So it's very much about him learning how to do what cosplay is, because he has no idea.
Yeah.
And her trying to understand like how it's made. So they're coming at it from different angles. It's interesting. It ends with, it's like, oh, so when do we need to do this by? It's like, oh, it's there's an event in 2 weeks. It's like, what? And that's where the book ends.
Okay.
If you like the romantic comedy kind of thing, that's kind of what this is. It's very much leaning towards the idea of cosplaying. So there's a lot of jokes about that and about how obsessed she is with this hentai game. And it's just hilarious because she talks about it constantly. And he's like, okay. He doesn't get it, but that's what she likes. It's really funny.
Okay.
And then, and I believe the second season of the anime of that just came out. So that was another reason. Like, oh, I've heard about this recently, so I checked it out. So then I read Kowloon Generic Romance. Yeah. I was not sure about this until the very last page.
Yep. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because I'm like, okay, this is okay. It's nothing amazing. And then the last page happens. Well, before that, there's hints of something weird's going on. And because you talked about it before, I'm like, something weird's going on. And then you get to the last page, like, what?
What the fuck?
And then that's it.
Yes. Yes. I know.
Yeah.
I know that is burned into my brain still. Yep.
It's like, okay, if that page wasn't in there, I'd be like, all right, it's fine. I probably won't read. I won't pick up the next one for a long time if I feel like it. It's like, okay, now I'm interested.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know this is your recommendation, but what I will say to other people, because I think the series is amazing, and I've talked about it a bunch. This is another one where the first book does start off really slow. Once you get to the end of book 1 and you get that what the fuck moment, book 2 does not wait a long time to start bringing those things back in.
Okay, good.
Stuff starts happening a lot more quickly. It's still very small amounts, but it's not like, okay, well, you've seen that. See you in book 5 when we talk about this for the second time. It's like, no, weird stuff is gonna start happening more and more.
Yeah, okay, good. Because in the first one, it's like, it starts off kind of, okay, this is just like I'm living in the city, and it's odd that the city's like this. Yeah. But, okay. And then there's hints of something odd is happening, but it's very much, you can't really piece anything together yet. And then the end happens, and it's like, so was any of this real, or what?
Oh boy. Don't worry. More of that will come up in book 2, and it will be more confusing.
Okay. Yeah.
I kind of know what happened now, but I don't think you find out the answer for what was going on then until like book 5, and there's so much else weird stuff that's going on.
Okay.
It's so, but yes, I know what you mean. Of like, oh yeah, the last 2 pages of the book.
It's like,
that last 2-page spread. It's like, what? Yeah. What is this?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. I'm glad it worked.
Yes. Yep. So I will probably pick up the rest of them. Just to see what happens next. And then I read Don't Toy With Me, Miss Nagatoro, books 2 to 6.
I made you bring it up.
Yes. I definitely like the story better now than I did after just reading the first book.
I know I said this before too, but yeah, it's like you gotta get past the first book.
Yeah, the first book is so much of a bully kind of story, where she's just bullying him constantly with seemingly no remorse.
Yes.
And then the second book and then the subsequent books you can definitely tell more that she's interested in him, and that's just how she shows it.
She doesn't bully him less.
Well, that's not what I mean. It's less about bullying
that's what
and
I'm
more
saying.
about teasing. That's how
the bullying and the teasing doesn't
herself.
really stop, but it makes more sense.
Yes.
And it's less of like, do I want to watch this?
Yes.
And it's like, okay, yeah, no, I do.
Yeah.
This is very fun.
The first book felt more like, I'm just bullying him because I like bullying people.
Yes.
But now it's, I'm bullying him because I like him, and it's kind of just how I am. And then the art show is so weird.
Oh, God, you've gotten to that part?
Yes.
Yeah.
So the 6th book ends with the senior art show. And it's like, what is happening?
God.
Yeah, it ends after the school festival.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, I was not expecting this to happen.
Oh, God, there's so much I could say about the senior.
Yeah, I bet she comes up a lot more from then on.
So, she ends up leaving the series a lot because they grade up.
Oh, okay.
They become seniors.
That makes sense.
But she still comes back.
Okay.
And you can imagine what happens every time she comes back.
Yep, again. So if you don't know what we're talking about, you should read it.
Yes. It's very...
There's a competition between the two of them.
Yeah.
But yeah. Like,
good, I'm glad you liked it.
And then introducing the friends and how she acts with her friends who bully him.
Yeah.
Because she doesn't want anyone to bully him except for her. So she gets very upset if other people do it.
Yeah. I'm glad you like it.
I like it. Yeah. So I'll definitely get the rest of those.
Yay.
And then I gotta go through these faster. How a Realist Rebuilt the Kingdom, Volume 1 of the manga.
Never heard of it.
Yeah.
Never heard of it.
It's really good. I like it a lot because it feels more of a, I guess, technical kind of story where he's trying to explain.
Very much so.
I'm not just using my superpower to just invent something that's crazy. Like, I have this gift where I can just make magic things. It's like, I'm doing this. You can do this by reforming your government, putting in these policies to grow food, not just grow things for money. And it's very much a story about how do you rebuild the kingdom, but not by crazy magic powers that I got from my other world.
Yeah. Have you even seen his power yet?
Yes. They mentioned it for very briefly where he can control like ghost pens, but it's mentioned like once. And it's shown once, and then it's never brought up again.
Oh, it'll get brought up more.
Okay.
That's not the full extent of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, like his actual like superpower is pretty... Oh. I mean, I guess it's not bad.
Yeah.
Good. But I'm glad you like it.
Yes, it's really good. It very much is, how does he know all of this? Because it's like, he's just
Machiavelli's The Prince.
Yeah, but it's like, how do you remember all of, like, how do you remember how all this forestry stuff works? How do you remember how all of this political stuff works and all these other things? Like,
it's not brought up nearly as much in the manga, but in the light novel, he is a college student. He's a history major.
Okay.
That's one of the reasons why Machiavelli's The Prince was his favorite book, because that's what he studies, is he studies history.
Okay.
And he was a college student studying that when he got transported.
Yeah, because it mentions he's a college student because his grandfather died right as he got into university, and then that's when he was transported over, but I don't think it really goes into what.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't go into him as a college student more than he was a history major. Right. But I think it did a better job of saying that in the novel.
Okay. Yeah, and maybe it'll go into that more eventually. But yeah. It's like, he knows an awful lot.
And the stuff with the forestry thing, where it's like, how do you know about periodic thinning? It's just the classic Japanese. There's this thing with Japanese people where, like, there will just be a 20-minute segment on a TV show where they'll talk about something for 20 minutes and, like, 70% of the population will just happen to watch it. And so just, like, everyone now has that idea in the cultural zeitgeist for the next 30 years.
That is funny.
So, like, it was probably on a random TV program one day and he watched it, and like here in the US, like, that's crazy. Like, how did you get so lucky? And in Japan, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, I remember shows like that all the time. That's literally every day on TV is some crazy thing they'll talk about for 25 minutes. And it's like, it could be literally any topic. And you could just say, oh, I saw NHK 20-minute documentary on it. I'm like, yeah, okay, makes sense. Checks out. Next.
But it's good.
But I think
I like it.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
You should.
Yes. It ends on, we're doing something secret with the military, but we're not going to say what yet.
Yeah, I expect that for a while.
Yeah, okay. And then I read The Apothecary Diaries, Volume 1 of the manga. There is a light novel of this, but I read the manga, Volume 1. So do you know anything about this?
I know of it. I have not read it yet.
Okay, so this is set
I have it,
in...
because you gave it to me.
Oh, yeah. This is set
I haven't read it
in China. I'm not exactly sure when, but quite a while ago.
Yes.
It is about...
Historical.
Yes, historical China. This is about a girl who was sent to the Imperial Palace. So she was kidnapped. Sent to the Imperial
I was going to
Palace.
say sent
against her will.
Little...
Yeah.
There, that's better.
Yeah, sent against her will. But before that, she was studying to be an apothecary. So she was sent against her will to the Imperial Palace to be a maid. So she is a maid. She can read and all these things. So she is... But she doesn't want to be involved in the politics of the Imperial Palace because like, I don't want to get involved in this. Crazy stuff happens if you are, and that's just not what I want. So she's trying to hide it. But then, because it's the emperor and things like that, there are concubines and people who are vying to be the... I'm not sure I'm getting the names correct, but the main wives and who have kids and things like that. So there are two women who have kids with the emperor, and they're both not doing well. And she figures out why, and that they're being poisoned, but not poisoned to be... Like, they're being contaminated by something that's poisoning them. So she figures it out, leaves them notes, leaves the two women secret notes. One pays attention to it, the other one doesn't. And the one who does pay attention reaches out to try to find out who did this. And then there's someone who's kind of overseeing everything, who's incredibly smart and picks up on everything, hunts her down, figures out who she is, and then this woman who she saved and the baby take her in as one of like her personal maids. So she's now a maid of one of the favorite wives. So she's a step up. So what she actually becomes is a poison tester. So that's her job. Her new job goes from I'm a maid who like bring laundry to, oh, you get to taste poison every day. Or you get to taste food every day. That's your job. You're the food taster. It's like, oh, great. But then she also gets to now have a lot more freedom. She has her own room. She can actually do apothecary things. And so they start going around, hey, can you do these things? And like in the first book, there's a lot of setup for getting her ready to do what she does. So it's kind of hard to see where the big story is going to go next. It's very much, I am now becoming more of an apothecary again because I now have more of these freedoms that I couldn't when I was just a regular maid. So it's very much a setup to I'm going to now be an apothecary, like a real one with the support of the Imperial Palace, almost. And like there's most likely going to be more of the political side of things going forward. So that's that one. Two more. I read Welcome to Japan, Miss Elf, Volume 1. This is a reverse isekai, kinda.
Yes.
So, have you heard of this?
I have heard of this, yes.
So, for anyone who hasn't, this is a story about a guy in his 20s. He's had this all his life, but it starts off with a guy in his 20s. When he falls asleep, he gets transported to a fantasy land, medieval fantasy, magic kind of fantasy land. Not a fantasy, Disney fantasy land. So he gets transported to this land where he goes on adventures and has all these things. He's like, okay, great. And he meets friends. And so one night when he's on one of these adventures, he meets a dragon because they're trying to, let's go explore this ancient temple. It's like, hey, there's a dragon in there. Let's go check it out. I've never seen a dragon in real life, like in person. So they go, okay, we'll sneak up and kind of check out the dragon eggs and see how cool they are. But the dragon finds the two of them. And the dragon's like, it doesn't say this, but it breathes fire on them. He jumps in the way, grabs her to shield her. Oh, and then it's just like, poof. And then it's like, oh, I died again. He wakes up. Like, okay, it's morning now. Great. Looks over, and there's the elf laying in the bed next to him. And he's like, what? And that's how she gets transported over. Because he is able to bring certain things over, like food and stuff like that, to his fantasy land, but he's never been able to bring anything back. So she wakes up, doesn't understand what's going on. So then it's about him taking her around, like, Japan, like, this is what Japan is, and things like that. And then it's like, okay, we'll take you back. So then they go... So I'm cutting this story really short because it's a lot of... I'm going to take you over and show you all these things about Japan and things like that. So, okay. So he figures that if we go to sleep like I normally do, I should be able to take you back. And that is... They do go back. It's like, okay, great. Because he's been doing all this fantasy stuff for a long... All right, let's just talk to the dragon so it doesn't kill us immediately again. As soon as we get over there. So they talk to the dragon, things like that. And then it ends with, I want to go back to Japan. The elf is saying this. Yeah. So then so this is very much a... If this was a one book, this would be like, okay, this is a cool story. It's about them going, and then she wants to go back, and then we're done. But now it's going to be... We're going to go back and forth between Fantasyland and Japan kind of all the time. I think that's where it's going to go. So it's interesting. Okay. It's about him isekaiing into the fantasy world at night and her isekaiing into the Japan during the day.
Cool.
Yeah. So it's interesting. And then speaking of isekai, I read volumes 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and just finished 11 of Mushoku Tensei, Reincarnated, something.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's almost a start. Those are rookie numbers. You got to bump those numbers up.
So, I'll go through these really quick. So,
yeah.
6, 7, and 8 are their own arc. It deals with the fallout of them coming back from the Demon Continent. Mm-hmm. The main character, Rudius, because of how the 5th book ends, develops a physical condition, which over the next 3 books he tries to cure. So these 3 books take place over 2 years. The first one is a year long of him just going off and being a random adventurer up in the North country, where he meets some people, he tries to solve his physical problem, but he can't, and kind of coming to grips with Eris leaving him at the end of book 5. Because she leaves, but doesn't really explain why, and he blames himself, and that's really what's causing his physical condition. Then the next book, he goes to magic school, where he tries to learn how to cure his disease, his physical condition, and that's where you meet some of the characters that have shown up before, and some new ones that play a big role going forward. And where one of his childhood friends shows up again. However, he doesn't realize it is. Then in the 3rd book, he realizes that it is his childhood friend. Because everyone's like, how could you not? But she was really trying to hide it. He cures his physical condition. And I'm not going to tell you what it is because that's kind of the whole point of the book. Of these 3 books is him trying to solve it. And it's funny if you don't know what it is going into it. Well, it's not funny. It's sad. And it's really a psychological problem that he's trying to solve. But it's very much played up as a joke sometimes. So then he solves his condition, and the 2 of them decide to get married. So then the next one, that's when they get married. He starts to kind of become his own, I'm going to be happy, I want to do things, and just kind of... It's very much almost like a filler book where it's like, okay, it's just talking about getting married and him meeting his friends and things like that. And then the next book, it's his sisters show up who were sent away from his father because they now know where his mom is, which they kind of knew before, but it's like, because the only person in his family they don't know where they are is his mom. So his dad is like, okay, I'm going to go get our mom back. I want you to watch the 2 sisters. So then, okay, I will do that. So then it's him trying to be a good older brother to his 2 younger sisters. One of them is incredibly smart, but wants to be a maid. The other is incredibly average, and it has always been kind of shown up by the other sister. Mm-hmm. So the one who wants to be a maid is actually his half-sister, whereas the average one is his full sister, and he treats them the same, but a lot of other people don't. And so there's all dealing with all of that. One sister really likes him, but the average sister has very mixed feelings that she can't get over. And it's about helping them like be who they want to be. And in the last book that I just finished is them. It turns out they need a lot of help rescuing his mom because she's in a labyrinth, which is, think of it, a giant dungeon. So so him and one of his companions go and travel north through desert country to get there. And they get there at the end of book 11. The issue is, so do you remember who the man god is? Do you have any idea what I'm talking about?
I think I remember you saying is he like the last remaining god?
Yeah, so he's the last remaining like true god because he's the god of this planet. But he is the one who comes to Rudius every now and then and is like, hey, it would be a good idea if you go here because good things may happen. So he comes again and tells Rudius, you should stay here and do this and good things will happen. If you go there, you will have regrets. So before, Rudius would always just do whatever he said. But this time, his sisters and himself and other people is like, he really wanted to stay because his wife is not pregnant. Mm-hmm. And it was, if he goes there, it's going to be close if he'll get back before she's has the baby.
Before the child, yeah.
But he finds a way to shorten the trip. So it's like, okay, I should be back well before you have the baby, so I'm going to go. And this is the first time he's decided to go against what the man god's advice is, but we don't know what the outcome is yet. Well, I do because the anime has done, I think, through the end of this book. Through the end of book 12, I mean. Okay. So I know what happens, but it's going to be interesting to see what happens after that, because you know the outcome, but you don't know, well, is he telling me that good things will happen to me if I follow, but bad things happen to everyone else? Or is it, in general, good things will happen if I go here, and then bad things will happen if I go there? But yeah, no, so it's really good. I really like it. I will definitely read the rest of them, which actually won't probably take that long, because I read 6 in a week.
Yeah, like I said, you're almost a third of the way to me.
So
I didn't read that much this week. I only read 8 books.
That is true.
8 novels.
Yes.
But yes.
Yeah.
If you all have other things you'd like to recommend, things you want to let us know about, things you think are cool, or you got your comments on these ones as well, feel free to leave a comment. Let us know. We'd love to hear from you all.
We won't always read this many books in a week.
You won't.
This was a lot. Yeah.
You won't.
That's true.
This was a light
You
week.
have. Yes.
Okay. Only because it was 8 novels versus 8 manga.
That is true.
But if it was manga, it's like, this would have been like, I read for
food.
one day.
Yes. So for our main topic tonight, we're going to talk about a story, Witch Hat Atelier. We're going to cover volumes 1 and part of 2, which is chapters 1 through 7. So this is written by Kamome Shirahama. This is published by Kodansha. In English, there are 13 volumes out so far. It's still ongoing. This is a story about magic and hats. Pretty much.
Yes.
For anyone who doesn't know, an atelier is a workshop. So it's the Witch Hat Workshop. So there are a few main characters. Go ahead.
I was going to say, atelier, I believe, is just the French word for workshop or something similar to that.
Yes.
It's just become a popular word in Japan for, like, fancy workshop name is atelier.
Yes, it is a fancy workshop. So there are a number of main characters. The main two to know in the beginning of this story are Coco, who is the main girl, and then Kifrey, who is the witch, who is, I would say, her teacher, who she would apprentice with.
I would hope so, because he does call himself a teacher. And it is a he as well.
It is a he.
All magic users are called witches. Yes.
There are no, at least at this point, I don't think anyone is called a wizard. I don't think there are wizards. it's witch. Everyone's a witch.
Everyone is a witch, I believe. It's
Yep.
the way the world seems to be going.
They all wear if you are a true witch, you wear a pointy hat.
Yep. With
But no brim on the hat.
Yeah.
That is important, but not yet.
Yep.
So there are 3 arcs in these first 7 chapters. There's an introduction arc, first pentagram test arc, and their Draconic Labyrinth arc.
Yep.
And the reason we're talking about all 3 is because the first 2 and part of the third one are all in the first book.
Yeah.
There's like 2 chapters in the second book that finish the Draconic Labyrinth arc. And so it's like, oh, well, we might as well just talk about all of them because there's no point in talking about just part of the first book.
Yeah. Chapter 5 is the beginning of the Draconic arc, and the end of the chapter is the beginning of the very obvious thing in the title, Draconic Labyrinth.
Yeah.
The Draconic Labyrinth appears at the end of that chapter.
Yeah.
So it's a good place to end a book to get you to buy the next book. It's a bad place to end the book to talk about the book. So.
Yeah. So as I was saying before, the 2 main characters right off the bat are Coco and Kifrey.
Yep.
So Coco at the beginning of the story is the daughter of a seamstress. So she is in a family that does cloth and clothing and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And Kifrey just happens to be a traveling person at the beginning who just happens to be stopping by to pick up some supplies. And then this world itself is very much a world where magic exists. People know how to do magic, but at this point in the story, magic is very much not in everyone's lives. It's a thing, but no one, unless you're a witch, does magic.
Yeah.
And unless you have money, you can't have things that do magic.
Yes. So the way they sort of put it is like there are magical objects and things around, and they'll be in places, and some of them you can get, although they are expensive. But it's not that magic is an unknown.
Correct.
High-class places will have magical objects that do things. A really famous early one, there's a set of pathway stones that when you step on them, they light up. So that even at night while you're walking on the path, you can see where you are.
Right. And then because of that, so everyone knows that there's magic. And then the story starts off with Coco at her house. And she is, I wouldn't say obsessed, but she's really, really into magic. But she believes that no one can do magic because of witches. Yeah. So then she's helping some customers, and then we meet Kifrey as he's just in the store. It's like, oh, she's cutting some cloth. It's like, oh, you're really into detail-oriented. You're taking your time to get all this right. It's really interesting. And then you hear a crash, and it turns out some of the other customers arrived on a flying carriage, and some of the local kids messed with it and broke it.
Yep.
So it's like, okay, great. Now who's going to pay for all this? And then that's when you learn that Kifrey is a witch and that he can fix it. So he puts a hat on. That's the symbol that you are a witch, is the hat. Nothing else shows you that you're a witch other than the hat. So he's like, I can fix this. Coco, can you come help me? And she's like, great. What can I do? And she's like, stand guard. Don't let anyone in.
Yeah.
It's like,
can you help make sure that no one sees, including you?
Yeah.
It's like, oh.
Because the idea is that no one knows how magic works, just that there is magic. Like, the regular people don't know. They just think magic is magic.
Yeah.
But they don't know how it works. They just know that magic appears and things like that. So Kifrey is in the workshop fixing this magic carriage. And she protects, and Coco protects from anyone peeking in, but then she's like, I want to take a look because I'm really into the magic.
Yeah.
So she peeks in and realizes, oh, the way magic works here is that it's drawn with a pen. That's how magic works.
Yes.
Because she sees him drawing on the carriage to get it to work correctly, and then he fixes the carriage, and the carriage flies away. But because Coco wasn't supposed to see, she's kind of, you need to go now because I want to go and try out magic stuff.
Yes. There's a little thing that happens earlier where you see like part of her history with magic where she got a quote-unquote book of spells and a wand from clearly someone just scamming local kids at a festival.
Yep.
And then she realizes, because it was like, oh, it's a book of pictures of spells and a wand that's actually a pen. It's like, that's funny. And it's like a kid's notebook combo. And then she realizes, wait, that's actually how magic works. And so she starts drawing some of the spells, and it's like they kind of don't really work the way they're supposed to. And then she realizes, oh wait, I know. I can take a blank piece of paper, I can put another piece of paper on top and put that on top of the book, and I can just trace the spell that's in there.
Yeah.
And like all good series, everything goes horribly wrong. Her entire house gets consumed in crystals. Kifrey is able to save her, but her mother is caught up in the crystals, along with the entire rest of the house and the Book of Spells.
Yes.
And they've said, like, oh, you have to be born to be a witch. And it's not. Anyone can be a witch. That's why they've been keeping it all secret. But now she knows, and if she keeps it secret, she can help Kifrey find out about these people bringing around forbidden magic. So he'll teach her so that she can figure out what the spell was that did this, so that she can someday hopefully undo it and save her mother.
Yes, because one of the important things about magic in this world is if you are not a magic person and you figure out how it's done, they wipe your memory.
Yes.
So if she was a normal person and saw him drawing magic, they would wipe out her memory of the magic.
Yeah.
Because they want to keep this completely secret, because it turns out when anyone could do magic back in the day, there was constant war. People were doing unimaginable things to each other because anyone could do it. So they decided, as the witches themselves decided, we are going to limit who can do magic, and anyone who doesn't know the bad reasons why you shouldn't do magic this way, they will get their memory erased of the magic to protect the world. So they will put these rules in place to protect everyone, because they don't want to go back to the constant war they were having before, when magic was just running rampant.
Yeah. And beginning in chapter 2 and throughout the rest of this beginning part, they go into very strong detail about like what is and isn't allowed. Like magic, you obviously can't tell anyone who's not a mage, but you also can't do any spells that affect other people's bodies or minds. You can't use this kind of magic, you can't use that. And it's like, all of those are forbidden.
Yes.
You can't cast any magic that directly affects another person, with the one single exception, of course, being the memory wiping magic.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, yeah, that would do it. All right.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's really... I can't remember if it's exactly explained in these first two books, but they go through... One of the ways that magic is cast is that they have little, almost pocket...
They do. Yeah, they have like a little pocket notepad.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
They do... It comes up in the Draconica arc, although they don't have to hide it anymore, but they have like a little... Almost like a little notepad.
Yes.
It's circular, but they'll hold it in their hand and they'll draw the spell there to then cast it.
Yeah.
And the hat is obviously the big thing, but the other very common thing, I think this also comes up at this point, although in like a in-betweener page, they also wear these big flowing wide robes, and that's...
Yes.
The hat is the symbol, but the robes are so that they can draw and cast the magic in such a way that people can't see what they're doing.
Right. They'll draw it like to the side or tucked away somewhere, and then they will activate the magic without revealing that they're actually drawing. So the way magic works, and this is explained really well in this series, is that magic is drawn by creating a piece of art that explains what the magic is going to do. So you have all these different symbols, all these different combination of things, and then when you close the circle of the magic, that's when it activates. So if you want water to do certain things, you use water symbols, and then how you orient certain symbols does funny things. Like in one of the scenes, she's practicing drawing water, and she draws one line a little longer than the other. And what happens when she closes it is it shoots a ton of water in the other direction, in that direction of the symbol that she drew extra long, and splashes someone in the face. So that's how you get these complicated systems. So by doing these, because you can prepare a lot of them ahead of time too, and then just as soon as you close the circle, that's when it activates.
Yeah.
But they'll also learn how to do a lot of them really fast. You'll do ones that you like that are complicated ahead of time, but then you have your go-to ones that you can just whip out really quickly. But it's always trying to do them in a certain way where people can't see it.
Yes. No one can ever see it.
No one can know.
And we're not going to go into the details, both because we don't have them all memorized off the top of our head, and it's kind of not really the point of this, but the story itself does take time to go into a lot of detail about this is how the circle is constructed. There's this kind of symbol in the middle that does this. There's this kind of symbol around that, which does these other things. You can repeat that this many ways, and then the final thing is the outer circle that everything's contained within. There's these kind of magic symbols and those kind of magic symbols, and they take a lot of time to really talk about it. It's a very explicit system.
Yes.
Where you can actually look at the spell they're drawing and be like, oh yeah, if I had studied the earlier chapters, I could just tell you what that spell is just by looking at it. That's part of how the magic works, since it's just a drawing.
Yes. So then once Keyfrey saves Coco from the crystal house, it's like, okay, you can come and learn magic with me. So he brings her to his atelier.
Yep.
Which has 3 other people learning how to be witches. They're all, I think, roughly the same age. Or
yes,
around the same age.
I don't think they're explicitly saying how old they are, but they're supposed to all be around the same age.
So there's, I don't know if I'm saying it exactly right, but there's Agate, who is, think of her as the main, I am the best in the group. She is the most serious. You don't learn about her past just yet, but she is also the one who's there to be the best. So she's the very serious one. Yep. She is actually Coco's roommate now. Yep. And because of that, Agate picks on Coco a lot because she thinks that Coco shouldn't be there because you're not part of this witch culture. You're an outsider, and you haven't proven yourself to be here, whereas I have. And that comes up a lot in the second arc, which we'll get to as soon as I introduce the other 2 characters. So then there's Tetsuya. Think of her as the happy-go-lucky person. She is very much trying to make sure everyone's happy and good and everything like that. She is also one of the apprentices. I don't know if they say how long she is there compared to everyone else, but she is definitely the more outgoing of the group. And then there is, I think it's Riche. So she is the quiet, not loner type, but she is very much the quiet, I'm going to do my own thing. She is in the beginning. She doesn't do a whole lot. She has actually a very interesting backstory that comes up later.
Like you said, she's quiet, but less a loner and more studious and focused.
Yes.
And not even like, oh, I like to study and I don't like having fun. More of just, I am very focused on what I am doing.
Yeah.
And it's like, if I'm doing something fun, I'm having fun. If I'm doing magic, I'm doing magic. If I'm doing this, like, I'm only doing this. There is no other mode.
Think of magic less as a study of books and things and more of learning to do art. So they are very into their craft of practicing their art, practicing how they draw, practicing where they can draw in certain ways and things like that. So it's very much almost a study of art rather than a study of spells. Like, there are spells, but it's very much how you draw dictates what's going to happen, so they are constantly practicing drawing.
Yeah.
So now that they have those 3 other characters, Agate, Tetsuya, and Riche. Agate doesn't like Coco at all. Riche is kind of in between. She doesn't really care. And Tetsuya is very much,
hey, new person, yay!
Yeah, she's very much, I'll teach you what I can tell you everything. So she's very happy to see Coco.
Yeah.
But Agate is Coco's roommate and gets very annoyed with her very quickly and says, you have to prove yourself that you're here. So that's where the second arc comes in. So one of the things that they can do is, as we said before, you can draw magic circles on objects, and those then can do things. So one of the things that a lot of witches have is flying shoes. So what they are is you draw half of a circle on one shoe and half of another, and then when you put the shoes together, like click your heels, you can fly. And when you take your heels apart, you stop flying. So there's all kinds of objects like that. There's ones that hold water, there's ones that light fires, there's all kinds of things. So that's one of the main uses of magic, is having them in an object to make people's lives better, because they don't want to cause harm. They want to make humanity a better place through magic. by creating these magical objects.
Yep.
And that's a big thing that comes up in one of the later arcs. But that's something for another day. So this test that all of these students are supposed to do is collect a flower in this area that's, okay, it's kind of hard to get to and things like that. And this really showcases kind of, this is a magical world. Yeah. So they go to this area to do this test. And the test is to get this flower on top of some, can't really say hill, on top of a ball.
It's called a hill.
It's called a hill, but it's not really a hill.
It's a bunch of flying dirt balls.
Yeah.
Like the size of school buses.
Yeah. So there's these just balls of dirt floating in the air. And on top of some of them are this special flower.
Yeah.
And Agate says to Coco, you have to do this or else you're not allowed to go to the atelier.
And also, if you fail, you can't be a witch and you're never allowed to take the test again.
Yeah. So very much your typical hazing, you got to do this because I did it.
But also, while Kifrey is away, and also according to Kifrey, when you see the scene like of him away for a bit, talking to him, we'll have to do this at some point in a couple of months because it's the wrong season for it.
Yes.
Yes, it is a real thing, but also it wouldn't be right now. It wasn't going to be these things. But Agate basically is like, yeah, go do this now. Shoves her through and is like, good luck. If you fail, you're out.
Because it's like a day or two after she started.
Yeah.
And Kifrey wasn't going to do this anytime soon. Because
it wasn't like at least a couple months.
No. Yeah. She doesn't know magic.
Coco has literally just started doing magic.
Yeah. This is her trying to get to the top of one of these balls to get this flower. She falls into this
swamp, basically.
Yeah, giant swamp.
Marshland.
Destroys a lot of her magical instruments that she brought with her. Because the way magic works, while you can have a pen and draw, it only works if you use special ink.
Yep.
So if that ink gets damaged for any reason, that spell no longer works. So she had the magical shoes to fly, but when she fell into the swamp, the magic circle got messed up, so now it didn't work anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So eventually, while Kifrey is away, she figures out how to draw a magic circle based on her work seamstress place to make herself a kite, which she can then fly on. And it's a really cool scene of her flying up with just the sail on a boat to get on top of these balls to try to find one of these flowers. In the book, this is when Kifrey comes back and Tetsuya talks about what's happening. And he's like, what? She's not supposed to be doing this. So they go and try to get her.
And basically the ending, which is she's there with it, being like, I've got it, here it is. Yeah. Flying down with it. It is, like, as you said, her, like, seamstressness, like, which is a part of it. Her ink is destroyed. Her pen basically is gone. Her paper is gone. So she makes I've seen it, I don't know what it's called, but it's like a marking chalk that the clothing industry uses to like draw marks on clothing that they can wipe out. So she makes a tool out of that using the ink in the swamp and then uses that to make her pen that will then work on the cloth that she can use. It's obviously flying around and doing all this crazy stuff and gets the flower and yay, she passed. Woo! And Agate is extremely happy and only good things happen from here.
Yes. Yep. Everything's perfectly fine going forward.
Yep. Oh, wait, no.
No. So then, Draconic Labyrinth arc. This is... Now we get to see how other witches and wizards are. So one of the things that witches... I keep saying wizards, but there's no wizards. Just witches. We get to see how witches are. And one of the things that witches need are supplies.
Yep.
So they go and meet a character named Nolnoa. I think that's how you would say it. Nolnoa. What he does is he creates pens and has all the supplies you need in order to do magic. He is the go-to person in this city to get certain things. Think of Ollivanders in Harry Potter. He is the go-to person in this nearby town that they go to. But during this, Coco is with everyone else all in this store, and they meet Nolnoa and his grandson,
Yep.
who also works there. But as they're shopping, they see someone peeking in the window, or Coco does. This person is wearing the same outfit that they were when they gave her the book. Because one of the big things that Keyfrey is trying to figure out is who gave Coco that original book. Because the spells in that book are forbidden spells. And this person was just handing them out to people. And he's trying to figure out who it is and why they did it.
Yep.
And Coco sees this person because Keyfrey said, we're trying to figure out what they were planning and what they were doing. So if you can remember anything, that would be great. And then she sees this person who gave her the book and runs out the store after her. The other 3 apprentices also run out after her.
Yep.
And as they were going, they're chasing this person through the city. And then all of a sudden they get transported to this place. And it's an unknown city. And there's a huge dragon in it. And I believe that's where the first book ends.
Surprise, dragon.
Surprise, dragon. And yeah. So then they're all trapped. Keyfrey notices that something's wrong because everyone's gone. And the grandson's like, yeah, they all left chasing some guy with a weird hat. And he's like, oh, that can't be good. So he runs after them.
A brimmed hat? Oh, no.
Yeah. Well,
literally.
Is it brimmed?
Yes, that's how they describe it. It's a hat with a brim. And that makes it sound like one way that it is, but having read a little bit farther, I understand what it means is it's a hat with a brim where the brim covers your face.
Yes.
The witch hat is very specifically this shape, and it has no brim to cover your face in any way.
Right.
And so they talk about them as the brimmed hats because they have something that can cover up their face.
Yes. Think of a normal witch's hat as just a cone stuck on the top of your head.
Yeah.
That is what a true witch's hat is. Anything that's a brim gets a little confusing because you would think of a brim as just like a brim as sticks out
like
from
a baseball
the hat,
cap. Yeah.
Yeah. That's not... Some of them do have that, but it's kind of gets confusing as to what counts as a brim.
Yeah, the ones you see here, it's more of like almost like a mask. For the character that you see, it's like a big sculpted eye with dangling chains, and it's just it's covering their entire face.
Yep. But the brimmed hats are not nice. Well, I wouldn't say not nice, but they have an ulterior motive that is not typical for a typical witch.
Yes.
And Keyfrey is trying to find this brimmed hat person that gave out these books. Coco sees her, or him, chases after them. They all get trapped. So now they're trapped with this dragon in this other city. No one's around except for them. But there is a dragon. And they're trying to find ways to distract the dragon so then they can escape because they believe that the dragon is blocking the exit.
Well, no, at first they think they'll just get out. And
that's true. Yes.
Agate uses her spell to like burrow through walls. And so they start digging through the walls, and then they realize we went in a straight line and we're literally back where we started.
Yeah, so it's almost a fake world.
Yeah.
So then they try to defeat the dragon. Not defeat, but try to...
Incapacitate.
Incapacitate the dragon is the better way to put it.
Yeah.
They're not strong enough to actually defeat the dragon.
It's a dragon.
Yes, it is a
giant
very big dragon.
We described the dirt balls as school buses. The dragon is the size of a building.
So what they do is that I believe the dragon looks like it's tired. So they conjure a bunch of clouds.
Yeah, this is Tetsuya brings it up because it's like Tetsuya's dream spell is to create fluffy clouds that people can just lay and relax in.
That is her thing.
The spell that she wants to make as she gets better.
Yep.
So they decide to use that to make a giant fluffy cloud for the dragon to lay down in. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if you've read it recently to remember it, but there's this very good scene where Algot is like, this is a stupid idea and it's not going to work. And Coco's like, you're right. It's incredibly stupid and it probably won't work. But if it doesn't work, we're not in danger. So we can just try it. And when it doesn't work, it doesn't matter. And Agot's like, yeah, okay, that checks out. Okay, yeah, sure, we can just try it and
no
fail.
risk at all.
Okay, fair enough. I concede. We'll try it.
And that's one of the things that a lot of the witches in this series have a spell that they want to epitomize. Like Tetsuya's is the big dream cloud. Riche, you learn, is I believe like glass ribbons is her big thing. Agate and Coco don't really have one at this point. Key phrase you learn right now is water spells. He is really good with water.
Oh, yes.
Because as they're going, the dragon falls asleep.
Yep, it works. Surprise.
Yep. So they're climbing this tower to get out, and I believe it wakes up.
Yes, it does.
And at this moment, Agate stumbles, but Keyfrey shows up. So Keyfrey's hunting through the regular city trying to find them, and he gets sucked into this world as well. And he
finds the ruins of it and can copy it to follow after them.
Oh, that's what it was. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, he finds the ruins of the spell. So he shows up right as they're escaping, saves Agate because I believe she falls off the tower.
Yes, because she doesn't have her shoes anymore, and the dragon is awake and, attacking the tower.
So he catches her, and then he conjures a giant water dragon. Just does it right then. It's like, here's water dragon time. And the water dragon knocks the regular dragon to the ground and flattens it. And then they can escape.
Yeah.
He's like, okay, yeah, he is really good at this.
He's quite strong.
Yeah.
He's pretty powerful.
So then they get out. They don't really know how they got there. They don't really know who the person in the brim hat is. But as they're escaping, Coco ends up being captured by the brim hat. And I can't remember exactly what he does to her, if he does anything just yet.
From what I remember, it's sort of implied that he does something, but it's not really clear what.
Okay.
It feels like, hey, foreshadowing, bad guy doing thing. This will come up later.
Because he is, I guess, lording over Coco. Like, they're in, this almost dreamscape. Coco is unconscious. He's there looking at her, talking to her, it's finally starting. And then Coco wakes up on the ground with everyone around her.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, are you okay? Things like that. It's like, all right. So something happened. You don't know what it is yet. You do get hints about it later. But that's where the Draconic Labyrinth arc ends. And the story continues. So, story-wise, what do you think of the story?
So I will add that I've continued on to the rest of book 2.
Okay.
And
which makes sense.
Yeah, because if
Why
you
not?
have it, you might as well keep reading it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to talk about what happens, but I think you need to read through to the Draconic arc, because I will admit I was kind of bored for most of book 1. It wasn't bad. It wasn't uninteresting. It wasn't that there weren't cool scenes. The moment when Coco makes the sail and is flying through and succeeding at that, and the whole world and all the ideas, they're all good, but it kind of just is. It's yep, it exists. This is what's going on. But I wasn't super interested in it until the Draconic arc. Specifically the parts in book 2, because the first one is just, hey, we're at the shop, and then, oh no, we're in the room with the dragon. End.
Yep.
Chapter 6 and 7, the second and third part of Draconic arc, as I think the two biggest things is, those are the moments where you've met Agate, you've met Tetsuya, you've met Riche, and you obviously met Coco, and they've interacted, but that's the first time where they're interacting and who they really are starts to come through. And Agate is not just the hazing, bullying, I'm better than you, shut up. And Tetsuya isn't just happy-go-lucky. You start to see their flaws, you start to see what they're good at, you start to see who they are more. And the Kite, what made Coco special was that she is just clever. She's very bad at magic, but she's good at thinking up ideas for how to use the magic that she's seen other people do.
Yes.
And it's a big part of the Draconic arc where they're working on this, they're getting all these spells ready and they're working on it. Coco's like, what should I do? It's like, you should stay over there out of the way because you're not very good at this. And so she's just like over there in the corner, just like practicing like her spells. And it's just like, I mean, what else am I going to do? And the scene with Agate where this is a stupid idea. This is not going to work. And Coco's like, you're right. It's probably not going to work, but we're safe.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, no, that actually makes a lot of sense. All right, we'll do it. Like, Agate isn't just, ooh, Coco bad, I good.
Right.
She's self-aware enough to be like, okay, that's a decent enough point. Fine, we'll do it. Like, we might as well try it. Because I have nothing else that I can do. And you get a lot more characterization of her in these 2 chapters than you do in the previous ones, even though she was the whole reason Coco went on the test. I think the arcs that follow this in the rest of book 2 do more to like start this being a story and start things moving forward. But if all I had was the first book and I read it, I don't know if I'd pick up the second one. I definitely wouldn't pick it up quickly.
Mm-hmm.
It's good. The art is obviously gorgeous. Oh my goodness, the art is so good. We didn't talk about that yet. Yeah, it's not something like completely unique.
That's pretty close.
It has its very own distinct style.
Yes.
But like when I say something truly unique, like the stories that like always where I think of like what's the best art I've ever seen, it's like Blade of the Immortal, the comic where the art was so detailed they didn't ink all of it. Some of it they just used the pencil drawings. Vagabond or maybe Berserk.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Where there's so much like hand-drawn, carefully crafted detail. This is like the single step below that.
Yes.
But it's unlike those, which are either very realistic or very technical or very dark. This is so much more whimsical and soft and not exactly cute, but more inviting. It feels a little bit more like Pictures, where those are like very stylized action series. This feels more like a whimsical wizard story or witch story, I guess. There's just so much detail in it. So,
yeah,
the art's amazing.
Yes, the art is really, really good. It's probably one of the best art I've seen in a lot of stories.
Yeah, there are very few that I can think of. It's probably only those 3 that I mentioned previously, and probably 1 or 2 of those I can see people saying like, yeah, that's not as good as this. And I'd be like, you might be right.
Yeah.
I don't think it's the best art ever, but it's real freaking close.
Yes.
And I can see people arguing that no, it is.
Mm-hmm.
And it still has its own style. It still has its own design to it that really stand out. But I just think the first book, it's so slow and standard, and it's not uninspired. It's just, okay, this is what this is, and then this is how this works, and this is what these characters are, and this is what this character, like, oh, you meet Agate, and it's like, oh, it's going to be the angry rival character who's going to try to screw Coco over, and it's like, hey, look, guess what she does? She forces her into the test before she's ready. It's like,
yeah.
And then book 2 is like, no, now we're actually going to be our own unique thing.
Yeah, I think because this world is so unique, there's so much that has to be explained in order for you to understand it at the beginning. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, it'll make no sense. And that slows the beginning of the story down. I
disagree, kind of.
Okay.
I wouldn't say it's entirely unique. There are incredibly unique. The idea of magic is just drawing and just being like, that's the whole thing. That I think is really unique, and what they do with it is really unique. I think they just take their time to actually tell you all of that, and that just slows the story down. I don't know if they needed to do that.
Okay.
I guess I'm happier they did it now than later, because that would just make the boring part later. And now it's like, oh, hey, it's drawing magic, and now we're going to tell you exactly how it works. it feels a little over-explained.
I could see that. Yeah.
But the person who created it made it detailed enough that those over-explanations are a little boring, but at the same time, then you know how everything works, and the magic is very clear in doing this causes this to happen, and these details matter.
Yep.
And all the things where it's like, okay, magic is drawing, all the things you can think of, like, well, if magic is drawing, what about this and this and this? Like, oh yeah, they talk about all of those things. Like, you know, if you draw it improperly, the spell will react weirdly based on how you drew it. Like you said, with the water splashing because one line was just slightly too long. And the flame, like, you can't cast a flame spell by itself, because if you draw that on a piece of paper, the paper lights on fire and the spell goes away.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to draw it with levitation so that it appears above the paper.
Yep.
And it's like, oh, the ideas are really cool, but the story's not there until the second book, I think.
Yep. And I think that's very much to the detriment of the first book, where we're going into so much detail about how the mechanics work.
Yeah.
Just so we can then move on. And just say, all right, we've done it. We've told you the basics. This is how it's going to work. We've gotten that out of the way. Now we're going to go on, do the real story, where we actually have more things to talk about than just, this is how you draw a circle, things like that.
Yeah. And I think that's the thing that book 2 does, that having seen book 1 makes a lot of sense of the problems they have to deal with are these very basic ones, like getting through the Draconic Labyrinth, them physically drawing the spells and finding the materials to make the fluffy clouds as part of the spell. That's the actual pedestrian problem they have to resolve. Not, oh, can we make big magic circle? It's like, no, what are we using? We have to change the spell to make it do this. How are we going to make these things actually work? And if they didn't have all that detail in that first book, you wouldn't be able to make that the plot of the second book.
Right.
And the rest of the second book, it's more of those things of, it's magic through drawing and using all the things that entails as your plot and as your conflict and as your obstacles to deal with. It becomes great because you realize the author is going to be thinking about all of these things and using them as part of the story.
Right.
So.
But I do see your point that it slows the story down at the beginning.
Yeah, very much so.
But I don't think you could do it any other way unless you stretched it out even longer. So you can make a slightly more interesting story at the beginning, but then you have to spread that information out through even more chapters.
Yeah, I agree. I think it is a story you just have to bite the bullet and say, like a bunch we've talked about today, you just have to get through that first book. And it's not bad. It's not awful.
No. Yeah.
Not at all. Yeah, I don't want to say that either. It's just...
Yeah. It's slower than you would like. It is really good. This was it one of my top for last year? I'm trying to remember.
It might have been.
I'm trying to remember what episode that was.
Episode 1.
It was episode 1.
No, it was not. I think it was one of your... It was your recommendation for that episode, though. So I think it was one of your... And I think it was also like you had started reading it.
I think I just started
previously.
reading it. Yeah.
Oh, that might have been it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And I think, to me, that was the other reason why I think the first book bothered me more, is because I know you were like, this is so good. It's such a great series. It's amazing. Oh my God. There's so much crazy stuff. And I read the first book and I'm like, oh, okay. But to do a callback to earlier in this, it's just like you with Kowloon Generic Romance. If there wasn't that last page, you would have been like, okay, I guess there's something here.
But in my defense, I probably read like 5 or 6 books at once.
Oh, I have no issue with how you described it either. And like now that I've read book 2, oh my goodness, the rest of book 2 is great.
Yeah.
And it ends on another cliffhanger because that's how you sell books.
Yeah.
Yeah. But everything I would want that would make me want to read more in book 2 other than like actually knowing the answer to the plot, which obviously isn't going to happen, but just like, hey, make me more excited for this. Every chapter in book 2 has made me more excited for what comes next. The big chapters where stuff's happening and the sort of in between like personal chapters where you meet the other characters and things like that. Mm-hmm. Every chapter in book 2 has been an improvement and has been enjoyable. That makes me want to read more. A lot more than book 1 did.
Yeah.
So I think if you didn't realize it was, if you didn't have someone saying to you, hey, it's so amazing, it's so good, and then read book 1, but that's just an unfortunate part of us. If you just read it and it's like, I don't know what this is. Oh, this is kind of an interesting world. Oh, there's some crazy art in here. Let's just see how this goes. And then you get to book 2 and it's like, oh, wow. Oh, this is really picking up.
Yes.
And I haven't read past book 2, but I can imagine things that this whole system entails that I don't know if it's ever going to come up, but I can imagine it coming up. And I'm sure other things that I haven't thought of will come up.
Yes.
And that makes me excited for the story because I've now seen the artist is the kind of person to do that.
Yeah.
So,
yep.
I'm super excited for more.
Oh yeah, it's really good. The whole world gets fleshed out more. You learn more about the people with the brims in their hats. They show up. You learn about how the rest of the world views witches. Because for a lot of the time, you get from the witch's perspective of, we don't do magic, this is why, and explain it. But then regular people are like, why can't you do this? Why can't you just heal him with your magic? And they're like, we can't do that. But they can't explain why. Because then that would mean you're contaminating them with knowledge of magic. And how these two worlds interact of people who use magical items but can't do magic, and the people who make magical items and can use magic, how they interact. And it's really, really fascinating of how the author put this whole thing together. I
will say a little thing about something that comes up, which is later. The end of book 2 involves them going on a rescue mission. Yeah. And they have to save somebody, and they have to use magic to do it. But Coco is the one who has to cast the spell because reasons. And so there's absolutely no way she can do it without somebody seeing. So they literally have to figure out how to get everyone to stop looking at Coco, the person who's going to cast magic to save people, so that she can cast the magic to save someone. Yeah. Oh, this is so weird, and it's very obvious, and yet it's not. Like a lot of other places, it would just be like, oh, I can just use magic. It's like, yep, I can just do it. But the actual casting of magic and the actual doing of the thing is itself a step. And the author already is playing with it and using it and being like, well, how could this go wrong? How could that go wrong? Right. And then how do you resolve that? And it makes a really entertaining story.
Yes. Yeah, I highly recommend this. So, there are 13 volumes in English, as I said before. The last one came out in January. The 14th volume just came out in Japan in April. There are enough for at least 15, but it's still ongoing. But they haven't announced when the 14th one's coming out yet. It looks like the US version is about a year behind, so we may get one volume a year. Because this is, I believe, a monthly. Yep. So you're only going to get so many, It is it's really good.
Yes, it is absolutely worth it. Again, I don't think I'll sum it up with this. It's like, now that we've told you how good it is, you have to get the first 2 books. If you didn't know how good it was, you could probably get away with just getting the first one, but you probably have to get the first 2.
Yeah, I recommend the first 2.
I recommend the first 13.
Well, yeah. I haven't even read them all yet. If you're unsure, get the first 2, because then you'll have a really good idea of how this story's going to go.
And if nothing else, the art is amazing. Yes. It is overall a good story. Even though I've said a lot of bad things about the first book, I think I just expected it to be more. Okay. It was still good.
It does become a lot more as it goes on.
Yes, and I feel like book 2 starts to show that, where it's like, oh yeah, we had to talk about all these things and we had to do that, but all the things where it's like, oh, this is just this character, this is just that character. It's like, yes, that's true, but now we're gonna actually use that and do stuff with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got in book 2, especially like we mentioned, where this is a stupid plan. Yep, it's a stupid plan, but we won't die. Okay, fine, we'll try the stupid plan, because what else? And there's more to it than that, but it's well done. It's very well done.
I can't recommend it enough. The art's amazing. The story is really good, especially as it goes along.
Because we haven't said it enough. The art is really, truly amazing.
Yes.
It's not the greatest art ever created, but it's real close.
Yeah.
It's real close.
Yeah.
It's definitely up there. Which, for a manga about magic cast through illustration and drawing,
It makes sense.
oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
But with that, thank you everyone once again for listening to this episode of the Mudai Manga Book Club podcast. If you'd like to find our show in other locations, you can follow us on Blue Sky at Mudai Manga Book Club, where we announce episodes as they go live. You can also watch the episodes on YouTube at Mudai Manga Book Club, or you can listen to the audio versions on Podbean or most of the major podcasting applications under Mudai Manga and Book Club. Please like, subscribe, thumbs up, 5-star review, comment, ring the bell. I can't think of anything funny to add to this list because I've used them all up on all the other episodes, and I've used up all the stupid ones on all the other episodes. So I'm just going to say, please do those things so that we know that you like the episode, and so that the algorithm knows that you like the episode and will maybe share it to other people so that more people can hear about the episode. In addition, if you have questions, comments, rants, or anything else you want to send along to us, you can also reach us at mudaimangabookclub@gmail.com.
Yes.
But with that, I think I made you recommend something first last time.
Okay.
So I'm going to go this time.
Okay.
Mine's pretty simple. Go watch YouTube. Specifically.
Anything specific?
Go watch. Yeah. Yes. Roll the dice. Just open up your home theater and just flick your finger real hard and just zoom through all of your suggestions. And once you get to about 453, then just Josh Johnson. I don't know if you know him by name.
No.
I don't know if you watch The Daily Show.
Yes. Oh, the current Daily Show or ever?
Current Daily Show.
No.
So he is a semi-regular contributor on there. Not as much as some of the other hosts that have been on there as much. You watched classic Daily Show.
Yes.
I remember, like, in the 2000s. So, less a Stephen Colbert, more like a Louis Black.
Okay. Yep.
Like not every week, not every other week.
He just shows up every now and then.
He'd show up pretty often.
Yeah.
He recently was the host.
Oh, okay.
He was a fill-in host for a week as well. He's very good, hilarious black comedian. But I want to recommend his YouTube channel specifically because as a stand-up comedian, this is both to everyone in the audience, but also to you. Mm-hmm. He is extremely funny. If you are the kind of person who watches random YouTube video essays, Josh Johnson basically every week does a YouTube video essay as a stand-up routine. And every week and he's been doing this for 2 years now. Every week he releases a 20 to 60 minute stand-up thing on his YouTube channel. And it's like, the first 2 times you watch it, like, wow, this is really funny and like really entertaining and very topical. Mm-hmm. And then you realize 3 months later, it's like, oh my God, he's done one of these, an entire new set of jokes every week for 2 years. What the heck? They're generally pretty topical. He's very good at awkward, semi-nerdy comedy, like situation stuff as well. Doesn't do a ton of crowd work, but just very, very funny guy. Does not swear very much. I wouldn't say he never swears. I think he does from time to time, but generally he doesn't swear that much. And he does a lot more of like, tells a very funny story and then works that into daily topics. But like, he's talked about everything from Luigi Maglione, case and the Diddy case and the Diddy case again, specifically when the lawyer for Diddy decided he didn't want to be Diddy's lawyer anymore, which to me was one of my favorites because it's just so funny where it's like, this is the guy who defended Osama bin Laden. And then he was hired to cover Diddy. He's like, no, man, I'm good. Not for me. No. But he's done things like the CEO and the HR person who got caught on the kiss cam at a Coldplay concert. He did one on that. He basically just takes like the biggest news topic of the last week and just makes a stand-up special about it and puts it out every week. So if you need more comedy in your life, I say, person watching the news regularly recently with reasons to be very concerned about a lot of things, it is one of the highlights of my week. I never dislike what he does as comedy. The comedy is always great. Sometimes it's like, I'm not really interested in like this topic, so I'll just sort of like not watch it. But every time I do watch it, it's hilarious. He made a 15-minute special that came out, I think, this morning talking about Ghislaine Maxwell possibly being pardoned. And it's one of the funniest things I've ever heard. And Diddy possibly being pardoned.
Oh, yeah.
And it's one of the funniest things I've heard in the last couple of weeks. While also being like, oh, yeah, the girlfriend of Jeffrey Epstein and Sean Diddy Combs might both be pardoned. That's a thing. That's happening in this country we call the United States of America.
Yeah.
But also just very funny. There's an incredibly funny story of he finds the perfect way to encapsulate these things in an entertaining story. Like there's a whole tangent about doing your homework in class. There's a whole tangent of just, I can't explain it because everyone knows when you explain the joke it gets funnier, but I just can't explain it because I don't have it in my head. No. Hilarious comedian, great show, and flip through them and find ones that you find entertaining. Oh yeah, by the way, while he's doing this, he's on a consistently sold out stand-up tour.
Oh, wow.
Going all over the place constantly.
Cool.
He is a fantastic comedian. This is the kind of person who in 5 or 10 years is going to be the equivalent of a Jon Stewart, Stephen Colbert, Jimmy Kimmel. This is probably what he's going to turn into because it's just so good, so hilarious, timely, and constant. Always something new from him, and it's always great. So, Josh Johnson, just put it in YouTube and it'll come right out.
Cool. Yeah, sounds good. I'll check it out.
How about you? What do you got?
So I have a show. It's called The Owl House. It's on Disney Plus.
Okay.
I don't think I've talked about this before, but it is 3 seasons. It is about a girl who finds a magic door and falls into, short answer is like a demon world where she meets someone who sells human junk for money and calls herself the Owl Lady. So the main girl is named Luce. Nuevos? No. Yeah, her name is Luce. I can't remember her last name right now. So she is pretty much a outsider at her school. No one really understands her. She does crazy things where, for example, she makes a science project where she splices together various animal parts. And then somehow when the animal opens its mouth, spiders come out. So she is very much a free spirit.
Okay.
But she's also called to the principal's office all the time because of crazy things like that, or the snake getting loose, or stuff like that. So her mom decides to send her off to not confirmation, but conformity camp kind of thing, where you'll learn to think inside the box.
Okay, sure.
But when she's going to do this camp, she stumbles through this door. She meets this crazy world that she's always dreamed of. It's like, oh, there's demons and monsters and all kinds of things. And she meets the Owlie, and then she starts like, oh, I'm going to go here. This is going to be my camp, and it's kind of her adventures. And then there's a bigger story about people who have come here before from the human world, who are demon hunters, and how there's an overarching government conspiracy in this demon world to rid demons or to conform demons to this ideal that the Emperor has. There's a big story that happens. It's really good. It's 3 seasons. The last season is very short. It's like 3, I think, 1 hour-ish episodes. So the first 2 seasons are your fairly typical episode length and things like that. But then the last season was cut short because it was like half canceled. They didn't really renew it for a full season. So it's like, okay, well, we want to finish the story. And the people in charge are like, well, you can have 3 hours. It's like, great, we'll do something. So, but it's really good. It turns out that the main showrunner of the show, the person who came up with the show, is a huge fan of Witch Hat Atelier, because the main magic that this loose main character does is drawing magic circles. And Witch Hat Atelier was one of her inspirations for how magic works in this show. So, it's topical. It's topical to this episode. But it's a cool show. And definitely check it out. It's really good. It came out a few years ago now. It's been done for a couple of years now. But it is really good. You can watch it on Disney Plus. I think they do show reruns if you have like the regular Disney Channel. But I highly recommend it. Owl House.
Well, with that definitely normal ending of a conversation, don't listen to the outro for the secret bonus content to find out what I'm talking about here. Psst, that lets me tell them that there's secret bonus content after the ending song starts.
Wink.
Other wink. Tune in next week where we will be covering My Daughter Left the Nest and Returned an S-Rank Adventurer, Volume 1 of the light novel.
Bum, bum, bum.
If you prefer manga, there is a manga for it.
Yes.
I don't know the exact chapters, but I would say books 1 and 2.
Most likely.
The end of book 1 is summarized to be in book 2. So you'll have to read at least the first 2 books.
Okay.
But we will be covering it from the perspective of the light novel.
Yes.
Because that's what I know.
Okay then.
That's what we'll be talking about next time.
Boom.
Until then, have a good night, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Peace.
If you have any comments about anything we read, it's like, did we do it wrong? Did we do it right? Do you agree? Do you just like, this story is stupid? Or you have ones that we should check out? Let us know.
Did we do it wrong? Yes. Did we read the book wrong?
You read it wrong. And apparently, my voice over the internet isn't working, but at least my voice in my recording is working. So can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? How about now?
Yeah,
okay. I finished my explanation, and then I saw your message.
Perfect.
Okay.
Excellent.
Yep.
Anything else you want to say about it?
Nope.
Okay. Bear with me 1 second so I can edit this back in. Uh-huh. Oh, cool. What?
Oh, you didn't...
With a potato.
That means you didn't hear the reason I brought this show around.
Nope. Nope.
Okay.
It stopped with, I heard they were a huge fan of...
Oh, that's hilarious. Because that's the important part that got cut off.
Anything you want to add?
Nope. I think that's it. I don't know why I said that twice, but...
I was about to say, like, I don't know why you said that twice either.
Because it's... I just can't say
it's not as late as last time.
No, it's not. It's getting
by 4 or 5 minutes.